Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all of you who tuning in our podcast series, IAIS podcast series. And this time around, we have our special guest today, Dr. Wan Muhammad Hasni bin Wan Sulaiman, and we'll be talking on a very pertinent and very important topic, which is the latest US tariff that are going to be imposed to Malaysia. I think we got the latest development by last week. And before we go further to discuss on this very important topic, I would like to introduce our special guest here, Dr. Wan Muhammad Hasni. I think following his career path and his development, I think I could describe him as a very dynamic person. I think he's an accomplished economist. He got his PhD in finance and he got his bachelor degree in actuarial science from the US. He got multiple businesses across countries, from Malaysia to the Middle East, China, and so many other countries. And I think he is also a specialist in technology. He is also a technologist himself. He got several technology companies and also data analytics companies. And he is a strong advocate of blockchain. I think he got a book on blockchain for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, for everyone.
For everyone. You can get it from Amazon, right? And also, I think a previous book produced by Dr. Wan Hasni is on finance. Is it the dark side of finance or
The dark finance?
The dark finance. So he is an accomplished, economist, and I think I've been following Dr. Wan Hasni's posts in the social media, and he regularly produce insights and also to describe on the complexities of our situation right now. So before we embark on our discussion, Dr. Wan, maybe I would like to ask you some initial question. How do you describe our global landscape, politically, economically, especially after President Donald Trump comes into power? And also with the rapid development of artificial intelligence, I think unprecedented in our time that we witness such an advanced technology. And how do you describe that, Dr. Wan? Yeah.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Badri.
Yeah.
It's my honor to be here at
our honor.
IAIS, and I would definitely would like to contribute in some ways and whatever that I can in regard to the effort by IAIS, in regard to promote and to bring better understandings among humanity through the lens of Islam and through the lens of multitude of other approaches. Yeah. And so back to the question, I think it's very important to understand that the world, in regard to history, we come to what I call it a radical uncertainty. It's very hard to explain radical uncertainty because it's not defined. And coming from risk framework, because I'm trained in risk framework, in regard to finance, in regard to economy, in regard to many other things. So radical uncertainty is something that is will put off any models, any methods that we normally understand and use to apply to solve the problem. So in other words, we have to think out of the box, look in another way, and predict the unpredictability, and so on and so forth. So in a way, if you go back to the philosophy, we can put it more into the area of somewhere unknown territory. Not fully, but somewhere in the unknown territory, meaning that it's very hard for us to really predict what's going to happen tomorrow. Is it because of Donald Trump? No. If you look very carefully from the overall global systems, and I know that Dr. Badri, you are very much in the system theory and other things, in the global systems, these perturbations, these changes, this kind of what's leading to what we have today, if you look very carefully, was there but we do not know what will happen. So I think that's where we are. I would call it basically a period of radical uncertainty. As what our PM says is, ini zaman edan. Crazy.
Yeah.
But I would put it
Crazy.
in the proper word,
Yeah.
in that sense, radical uncertainty.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting that how do you coin the term to predict the unpredictable, and I think that is what we can, how President Donald Trump, represent his approach, to very unpredictable. And maybe another initial question, Dr. Wan, is when you first receive, the latest development about the tariff, especially the letter that being sent to the YDP Agong, I think that morning, what was your first reaction when you got the news? Yeah.
I've posted something very early on, I think about a month before that. I said that after Trump came back from the Middle East, he already said that he will send the letter.
Yes.
It's a very casual remark, but to me, in analyzing him, that casual remark is actually the truth. There's a lot of things in Trump that you need to understand him. You have to really read him very carefully. What exactly is the end game, or what's exactly the playbook that he's trying to do?
Yeah.
So he will definitely send a letter. And my guess then was basically there will not be much change to what he has sent before. The only thing that now is just only 1% extra from 24 to become 25. But in dealing with this, I don't think we even should focus on the numbers. When we talk about, when I say radical uncertainty, you cannot simply just rely, what's 24, what's 25? Yeah? And what's 10 for that matter?
Yeah.
Or what's 36 for that matter? It's more of the implications, the impact on you and on the region and the overall system. That's more important, to look upon. So, 24, 25. So, should we negotiate more between 24 to 25 to bring back to 24? Maybe. But that shouldn't be our major obsession with the numbers, because radical uncertainty.
Yeah. So speaking about the direct impact on ourselves and our society, I think we'll go to the big picture. I think Malaysia export to the US last year, I think hit nearly $200 billion.
$200
I think amounted to 25% of our overall value of our exports.
Yep, correct.
And also with the blanket 25% tariff, I think no mention of any sectors being excluded or semiconductors. No mention of that. So how do you appreciate, or how do you predict the impacts on our industrial sectors? The E&E, the agriculture. How bleak the future will be if it will be implemented?
I think there's one thing that's not being openly discussed. What we have today in regard to our export, into a percentage to which market, which sector, is the result of 10 to 20 or 30 years or 3 decades of investments in the country. There's a very high correlation between the FDI that came over the last decades or few decades ago to what we are doing today in terms of our exports, in our export capability and engine. And that's something very important to understand. And for me now, it's quite clear that this kind of tariffs may impact immediately, short term, in regard to the export to the US, whatever. But the direction of FDI coming to our country and the areas that we're going to focus on is going to make change. Because this, to me, what I call it a great reset or reset. And this is a reset thing that's happening. Is it because of Trump? Well, we have to thank him for that maybe. Because we need to do it. We as a country need to look inward, to look exactly what it's. Because today, for example, the deficit that we have in the US, we have the deficit, large trade deficit with the US. 65% of that are in E&E. And those E&E, the producers of them in Malaysia, are they local companies? No. They are Intels. They are the various semiconductors by various companies. Of course, there are some Japanese. There are some also other companies in Malaysia that are exporting to the US. So in other words, we look very carefully, is this kind of deficit that we have, the trade deficit, is it natively driven by Malaysia, or is it originating from those FDI that came much earlier? I think that's a question that I would like to pose more than answer. but somebody can study that. I think what I'm saying has a lot of validity and truth inside it.
Do you mean that our structure or our setup of economy is not that sustainable, that we cannot hold is much further? We need to think of the reset.
Yeah. That's why I'm one of those who have to think hard about. If you talk about FDI, I would rather go harder for DDI, meaning that we have to direct domestic investments. Yeah? We have to invest in the sectors, in the segments that going to create, and we have to invest in native technology. You have to invest in things that are native. I call it. I'm not calling local anymore. I would coin this term of native, because that will provide the long-term resiliency. Yeah, and we can see like Taiwan, they did, and China went long way back. Yeah. To develop natively many of the products and others. Yeah. And good that we progress, go far in regard to how we become an FDI destination. But that FDI destination are in segment and sectors that are very much will put us at the depending on the market that we are going after or we are sending after. Yeah. So I think that's where roughly the thing that if you want to look a bit more long term, but on immediate term, what we have to do is something else. All right.
So being a technologist yourself, doctor, how do you describe the term that you mentioned, native technology or native product?
So I think in regard to this one thing that to me, knowledge is not free. There's no tariff, no barrier on knowledge. Let's agree on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Truly, that you can acquire knowledge from anywhere. Yeah. And for that, we have spent a lot of resources for the country to educate our citizens, our people. We have sent our children, our students all over the world. We have now practically from any big university. We have graduates from MIT. We do have from Cambridge. We do have from Oxford. We do have from Stanford. We do have from all sort of places. Yeah, we do have that, and that means we have the ability to acquire knowledge is there, and we have done it. Now the question is, why have not we? Why didn't we put hard to make sure that we can bring those knowledge and then develop natively? I give you an example, Dr. Badri. For example, in regard to supercomputing. Supercomputing. Okay. Finland set up a supercomputing center under Looming and another one company, IQM, I believe. Yeah. Who is the person who is the founder of that one? He's a Malaysian. Graduate from TAR College. He's the founder of that one. Why he do it in Finland? Yeah, because they provide the environment for them. Ecosystem to do it. Yeah, we didn't do it in Malaysia, so there you go. And I can quote many examples of companies, technologies that are driven by knowledge. They are Malaysians. We send them to study all over the world. Yeah. And after that, they're not natively in Malaysia. They are natively somewhere in another country. So I think this is where the issues are. Yeah.
So the problem with ecosystem that we provide to this new creator, initiator of technology is the problem that we are having now.
Yeah. And that goes for AI too. I'm not technology biased, doctor, but I'm just giving examples. Because these are the areas that I think going forward is how to get out from the environment that we talked about earlier. I believe that AI and all this new tech will be a way out, let's say, from this conundrum that we have.
Thank you, Dr. Wan, for the response. And given our region, where we are witnessing that country like Vietnam enjoying a much lower tariff, 20% as of now, being announced by the US, and also maybe Philippines. I think these countries are more friendly with the US. And are we risking losing our businesses, investors to these countries? Given that they are much, competitive, and how can Malaysia survive in this, situation?
Okay, this is a very, very pertinent question, and it's very not an easy subject to answer, but we must have an answer.
Yes.
All right. Now, I was talking about all these things have a long-term impact. The long-term impact will be the FDIs. So, some of these countries may have a lower tariffs for whatever purpose and reason, but what will be the real measure will be what will be the FDIs that are going to come to those countries. I can roughly bet that it will be again based on manufacturing. So for us, we have to answer, is manufacturing is going to be our future? If that's the answer, then okay. But if that's not our future, we cannot compete anymore with these countries, for example. We cannot compete on the labor cost with Vietnam, for example, because they have ample labor. Our case, we have to rely on our SMEs, been relying on foreign laborers for the last few decades, for that matter. So is that sustainable for us? So I think it's this question of relativity. And that's why I was saying earlier, it's not about the numbers that matters here, about the outcome or the intended outcome that you want out of it. Okay, we understand the American, what they want. They want to balance the trade. All right, nothing about anything else. Fairness, forget about fairness. It's about balancing. Okay, whether balance is fair or not, that's another ethical question that we have to answer. But I guess what they want, that's what they want. So we have to answer, what do we want, right? What do we want today and what do we want in the future? And to me, I think that's why I call the Great Reset. Might as well we reset ourselves, go forward. Go for the service sector. Why are we going for manufacturing? In fact, the data centers are all for service industry, and I think we have grown into a service economy, service sector driven economy, less on the manufacturing and all those other stuff.
Yeah, I think moving from manufacturing based economy to another type of economy is important to us. So back to the region, Dr. Wan, I think some are suggesting that we deepen our ties with our ASEAN neighbors, and also China for that matter, and also or maybe the Gulf. Maybe you are familiar with the Gulf businesses and countries.
Let's call OIC countries.
OIC countries, okay.
Yeah, much broader.
Could this move, will cushion a little bit of this impact on us, the tariff impact on us, if we manage to deepen the ties with ASEAN? I think last time I saw an interview with Prof. Jomo. I think he lamented on the fact that Japan, Korea, and also Taiwan, they have already discussing on how their region could respond to this imposition of tariff, while ASEAN is quite, they don't have any statement on this. So do you think reaching out would be the strategies forward?
Okay. My answer to this is the following. I have one dictum, I call it. Trade follow finance. If you don't have the financial arrangement being done, the rest are only talks. So let's analyze about exactly in regard to the finance. Okay, the fact today, the global trade, 85% almost, is either in dollar plus euro. In renminbi and the others is less than 15%. And in fact, renminbi carries about 7 to 8% of the global trade in regard to the finance part. And remember, at the end of the day, trade has to follow finance. I mean, people got to pay, right? And got to settle the transaction. So I was commenting much earlier. In fact, I was commenting this after the 98 crisis. When we want to exchange our ringgit to Indonesian rupiah, we have to go through dollar. Same thing we have to do with Thai baht. Even among ASEAN countries, all our currencies are settled through the dollar. So you can see that we have to either get out from the dollar, which is not going to be easy, because it provides a stable financial clearing settlement. The SWIFT system is still there. So that's why I was looking when the ASEAN meeting and so on, I was looking at one statement about finance. Nobody talked. That's the issue. And for that matter, I'm looking at whether China is willing to internationalize the renminbi. I was very observing on that. Nope. They're not willing to. All the BRICS discussion, they're not willing to. Understandably why? Understandably so. Yeah. And in fact, there's a lot of talks about making Hong Kong to be an international renminbi center. It's going to move at a very slow pace. Understandable. Yeah. Because for China, they have to be very careful to make renminbi to be internationalized. Because they so far can insulate themselves today because renminbi is not internationalized. The moment they make that to happen, it will be a tool for others to really come and start to attack the renminbi. So I think these are the part that I think has not been discussed thoroughly and openly, and that has to be done. While talking about trade is good, we should talk. But this talk is going to be a very, very long talk until and unless finance going to move forward in a much faster pace. So to me, I follow that dictum. I call it trade, follow finance. Okay.
So
That's
interesting.
a dictum that's true for ages. Nobody can change that law. That's why I call it dictum. I don't put a law on it. Or finance.
So trade follow finance.
Yeah.
So since you mentioned BRICS, Dr. Wan, and we know that countries that are active in BRICS will be imposed 10% more tariff. So all in all, I think, is it true that Malaysia will be imposed 34% tariff
By being associated with BRICS.
BRICS? So do we need to rethink of our interest of joining BRICS, or what do you think on that?
I think all this, as I said just now, we shouldn't be any more worried and focused too much about these numbers. So Trump can say 30, add 10 more, or this, and tomorrow he will reduce. To me, we have to calculate exactly what's our role in regard to BRICS. Okay, there's 3 or 4 elements. I think there's an element of what let's call it trade. There's elements also of finance, which is not being talked about a lot. The third element, which is on the elements of security. Actually, there's another one, fourth element, but okay, let's talk about these 3. All right, because those are obvious subject. So in regard to trade, we should continue. I mean, we've been doing that. It will not happen overnight. In regard to finance, we have to push a bit harder. But as I said, none of the core BRICS players, China in particular, because they're the only one that's able to do the finance part, are taking a hard stride on it. So, fine. And of course, I think the more important issue is we have to deal on the security matters. Because I think security becomes an overriding subject. So we have to work with them in regard to more so on the geopolitical security, compared to the others. Because in my view as well, that a lot of these trade talks may go haywire at the moment, if anything. We're close to have that in the past few weeks or months. For World War. Sorry to say that, but I have no qualm of saying that. Because all these issues in regard to what we see into trade wars, and that's why we call it wars. I state to people that remember that we call it trade wars. All right. So that's why we have to go back, and what subject is being said by von Clausewitz and many others, war by another means, right? So trade is war. So So in other words, when you look into war, you look at many facets of the war or conflicts in this case. So it's an ongoing conflict that seemingly, as I was trying to talk to you earlier, seemingly there's no off-ramp to the subject. So I think all these trade issues also need some off-ramp. But I think nobody have any clear off-ramp for now. Trump also need off-ramp. Many others need off-ramp. But somehow this off-ramp is not being cleared yet. So let's see whether there's any off-ramp or not. So we have to deal with it. Don't get afraid of dealing whatever. And say whatever we need to say. And at the end of the day, we have to be ready to face that this kind of what I call it, not a temporal, but radical uncertainty. I used the
Yeah,
word before.
30%.
Yeah, within the current time. Okay.
So you don't have any problem with our commitment towards BRICS? And,
I think in regard to the last one, I said security.
yeah.
Do we have a choice? I think we have to.
You cannot
We do.
choose our neighbors.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go. We cannot choose our neighbors. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Wan.
We can be good to our neighbors. We can be kind to our neighbors.
Yeah.
But we cannot choose our neighbors.
Yeah. So, thank you, Dr. Wan, for that insight. If since IAIS is we are caters on the Muslim global affairs, so is it realistic to expect that in order to maybe, as you said, to find another paradigm, to find another horizon for our country to invest or to go venture into new territory, is it our relationship with our Muslim countries like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, UAE for that matter, to develop these new industries like AI, like data centers, and also blockchain, for example? Is it going to be realistic to stick our commitment towards our Muslim brothers countries?
It's not only realistic.
But
I believe now. I do not want to say farda because I cannot make fatwa on this kind of thing. It's almost kifayah. Yeah? So in other words, we must do it. It's not a question of choice that we can do it or we shouldn't do it or we want to choose other thing. We must do it. And remember, I used the word earlier. Trade, follow finance. Let me just add one more.
Okay.
What do we have? We have Islamic finance. We do. Why have not we expand that? Why not we have moved further up on that? Yeah. And of course, now with technology, blockchain as a good example of, we can implement about many of these Islamic finance within a more, what I call it, on a framework, on a platform that is. Yeah. So that's why I'm all for blockchain in that regard. Not Bitcoin, not all these cryptocurrencies. I'm hardcore about the blockchain as a DLT technology because with the DLT method, we have so many countries, so distributed system, and it's more resilient. And there's a long story about it. We can have another discussion about it at another time. But I think it's there. The technology is there. And now with the AI coming there to speed up things, what are we waiting? So we should push harder on the Islamic finance. And now, if we push harder on that one among the OIC countries, therefore, my dictum says that trade will follow finance. So Islamic trade among the Muslim or Islamic countries will follow Islamic finance. We have to push harder on the Islamic finance immediately because the hurdle is very minimal in that sense. Yeah, and of course regionally, we have to also work in the same manner. Yeah, because in my view, even among the countries in ASEAN, the Islamic banking part. Let's talk about Philippines. Let's talk about Thailand. Thailand have Islamic Bank of Thailand. Philippines is really speaking about having Islamic banking done. Indonesia, of course, is there. Singapore is and ever willing to become part of the play in the global Islamic finance. And I think, and even China is accepting Islamic finance this day and age. So we as Malaysia, we started on this. I among those people who started on this, feel that why we didn't really make a big jump on this now. And technologies are there. All right. So a bit sorry for being a bit passionate because it's something that I really feel that why are we not doing this? We do have the advantage of it. We do have many other advantages for it. So let's go for it. Let's go for it.
So, but Dr. Wan, in terms of technology readiness, do you see Muslim countries is ready to embark on this new venture of new technologies? We got the information. I think last week we got we organized a roundtable discussion on how ASEAN and also the GCC countries could work together. But in terms of technology readiness. Saudi Arabia aspires to become a hub for AI. UAE want to be the hub of blockchain and whatnot. So how are they ready enough?
All right.
Yeah.
And to me, when we talk about technology and others, it's always started with the first one, knowledge. So the question, are we in terms of knowledge ready? The answer is yes. Because we have all our Muslim people and countries have the knowledge. We do. And I call nativizing the knowledge. Yes, we do. So I don't think there's any problem of having the knowledge. Now, with the knowledge comes the application of knowledge, technology, and it comes through innovation. Technology will move forward if we have innovation and adoption. All right. So the key issue here is all about putting the right resources into it. So my biggest criticism to all our Muslim countries, Malaysia included, is that we are not putting enough resources inside it. Yeah, we just have to commit to put resources inside what we need to do. So the lack of resources is what lacking. Yeah, and of course, sometimes also adaptation. But I'm not worried about adaptation, because once you put the technology with the right resources inside it, many examples, Uber can be examples, or Grab now, and many other examples, even TikTok, whatever we can talk about. The adoption will be very quick if the right resources are being put inside that into technology. And in fact, for today, we can say that all these technologies that we see, most of them are 10 years old. Yeah. So in other words, we're not talking about something that's going to be not available today. Yeah, what we're going to do tomorrow. It's already available, and probably most of them about 5 years old. Like blockchain is more than 5 years old.
And the technology creators is not from our region or our.
No, we do. We do. As I said again, my problem is basically when we see that technology come from another country. All right, we believe that they are more superior than our own. This is the problem. Because when it comes to digital technology, for example, AI, and I wrote a long paper about a deeper look inside DeepSeek, for example. It's a classic example of, the knowledge started from somewhere, but it's being done by a bunch of young people with less amount of resources to even unseat OpenAI, right? Of course, there's more things develop after that. But the key issue here is started with knowledge and some resources, not big. And local people, I can bet with you, Dr. Badri, that those 200 developers that involved with DeepSeek, I can bet that not even 10% can speak English.
All are Chinese.
Not even 10% can speak English. And not even 10% educated outside China. Maybe even 95%, maybe even almost 100% from Zhejiang, from whatever, from Chengdu, from whatever. So if China can do it, we have started much earlier than China.
What do you mean?
In terms of educating our people. Okay. Yeah, China only sent people to the US or whatever in much later days. Right? And I remember when I was doing my doctorate, there's a few Chinese students in economics. None of them can speak English very well. They learn English from me and how to deal with the subject. But now they can deal with it. So we started earlier.
So many interesting insights from yourself, Doctor. Maybe if from the economic point of view, yes, this is imposition of US towards other economies. What do you think on the reversal impacts on the US itself? They will suffer the consequences as well, right? They will increase the inflation and whatnot. With this kind of,
I think in regard to, that's why when I started with radical uncertainty, it's not only about us. There's always, I call it not symmetry, but there's always the other side of things. The other side of the coin, if you want to use the word. So there'll be impact to us, but there'll be impact also to the American economy. My view is always that it's a big gamble that Trump is doing, trying to solve the inherent problem of the American economy. And the big problem of the American economy is, which I've been saying over and over, debt. debts. Hutang means they have so massive debt, and this debt growth has exploded, and it goes to the level of exponential growth. So how can he stop this exponential growth of the American debt, which is today is 36 trillion and counting, right? And with deficit that he has, it will be shortened in terms of regard to what he can spend, yeah. And yet the society is aging, and the Medicare, Medicaid, and health has to be continued. So he has a lot of problems that he has to deal with. He has to cut even the government budget, blah blah blah, and yet he has to increase the defense spending. So it's a very complex issues that they do have.
Yeah.
Now he's trying to find a quick way of how to solve that problem by having these tariffs, which is going to tax on the American people. Now, when we do that, then he has problem about how to control inflation. So that's why now he's hacking almost every day or every other week, calling the Jerome Powell of the Fed chairman to bring the interest rate down to 1%. He's putting the clear target to be 1%. That's not going to be easy, because when he's doing this, he's also rattling the bond market. So the bond market yield has gone the other way up. So it's all haywire. So a lot of haywire that they have to deal with, even compared to us. At least we have to focus on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
For him, he has a lot more. And yet the global geopolitics is there, and all the demands are there from many others. So I think, that's why I always say that, good luck to Donald J. Trump.
Inshallah, I think Dr. Wan Hasni, I think very active in posting, social media, posts on, I think more than 10 posts on this issue itself, and other geopolitical issues as well. And also I forgot to mention that you are also among things that amaze me is that you are also an active reader of Islamic philosophy and mysticism. That very intrigued me as well. And finally, Dr. Wan, given the situation that I think we witnessed, Marco Rubio, the State Secretary of the US, just attended our Foreign Ministry meeting of ASEAN, the 58th Foreign Ministry of ASEAN meeting last week, and also President Trump is also expected to attend our ASEAN summit in October.
Yeah.
And with the MITI team is still trying to negotiate. I think I know you are mentioning about don't worry about the numbers or whatnot. Do you expect any fairer, outcome of this situation?
My statement is always engage. Yeah. So we must continue to engage. To me, engagement is important. But what expectation that you set in your engagement is important too. So if you put a lot of expectation, then you will realize that your engagement is not going to bring you the right result. That may bring a wrong view by the public, like you're not doing your. Because remember that PM, MITI, Menteri Zafrul and others, they have to face many facets. Yeah. Yes. So all that I would say is just be careful on trying to commit to certain thing. Always appear the tone that we are willing to engage, and we should engage, all right, and sincerely engage, but reduce the expectation of outcome. Yeah? Reduce the expectation of outcome, because if you start to put all the outcome driven, then you'll be trapped into a corner that you cannot get out of. So in other words, let's say for example on halal matter, my answer is very straightforward. We can discuss. Same like Trump did. Always we can discuss. So why we say, cannot at all? No, just say we can discuss. Let's see what you can offer. Let's engage. I may sound a bit arrogant and brash about it, but sometimes that's what it is. You have to deal with this kind of people. You have to sound a bit arrogant in a way, because those are something that we have in our hand, right? So we will not let it go. But let's see what they can offer, right? So if you want this, so the same issue like the case of rare earth. We do have a lot of rare earth. We can bargain about it too. So, but we don't put that very early on in our bargaining if we need to bargain, because we have to know also what do they want at the other end, right? And we know that, for example, now they're putting forth for us to take their safe nuclear technology from the US. And we do have that offer from other countries too. So I think all this bargaining is all about, first, engage, then of course, go through without hard expectation of numbers. That's why don't put ourselves, I call it, put a rope around our neck. Don't need to. If we have to, fine, but we don't have to, so just engage. Okay. See what's the outcome. And keep engaging, and never stop engaging. That's all.
So as we are mentioning about the negotiation, and also you mentioned about engagement, and some of the issues being discussed is, I think maybe we need to put the red lines, right? As they mentioned, among the hurdles will be the government procurement that involve Bumi Putra rights and whatnot.
So who define the red line? See the question in bargaining. This is one thing, doctor, that I really would like to encourage. A lot of us in Malaysia, a field of study called strategic studies, and IAIS is considered to be a setup that is, of course, engaged in this issue of strategic studies. And in regard to all the strategic bargaining, it's about knowing deeply how to strategize in strategic bargaining. And I think this is where I can see that not to downgrade our capabilities of our civil servant and our foreign ministry and MITI and whatever. I think we have a lot of capable people there. But I think the top level input as strategic input is so important. Therefore, we can then put the strategic element into the subject. And I think this is where, not to say that it's a bit lacking, but I think it's an area that I think if we can push a bit more. Because for example, I just use the word, who decide the red line? They or we? It's an important issue in strategic bargaining, right? Let's not put as our red line. We can put the other way that is an item to discuss. In strategic bargaining, I think it's important. Say that it's item to discuss. But then, of course, in the domestic side, people will say, oh, now you're giving to the American or our allied industry. So you have to engage carefully. You have to explain that, look, this is part of a bargaining strategy. Are we going to give away? Let's see what they offer. If that's good for us, then it's fine. It must be a basis that what's good for me must also be good for you, and what's good for you must also be good for me. Twice me, only one them. That's strategic bargaining.
So are you still hopeful that we can get a much lower numbers?
I think at this stage, I don't think we can get any better than what
Vietnam. 30%.
Okay, no better than that.
Okay.
But okay, I do not want to again commit to a subject. To a subject because things might change tomorrow. So I think in regard to planning, all right, we have to be prepared to live with 26. We have to be prepared to live with 25, or be prepared even to live with 20, or 10, or 40. See how you think in dealing with radical uncertainty.
Okay.
All right. Be prepared. Be resilient to any condition and environment that is going to happen, because that might not be permanent as well. It may be only short time, change again tomorrow, change again after that. So be more prepared is, I guess, the answer. And that's why I am pushing for, I call it resiliency. That is the only answer to radical uncertainty. Be resilient.
So that's the keyword, resilience. And maybe some last words, Dr. Wan. What would be your advice to Malaysia and to other Muslim major countries in maneuvering in this deep water of deep uncertainty of the global landscape right now, economically, politically?
There are three elements here. There are three elements, three major elements. Okay. To me, I'm always follow my first part, finance. There's no real obstacle for us to go harder on the finance, Islamic finance, and this area. To me, it's no better time than now. So we should push harder and harder and harder and deeper for them, be more serious, be more committed, be whatever on that.
So in your opinion, Islamic finance is not doing
No, we
enough.
have to push deeper. I use the word deeper. We have the framework, we have the basis, but deeper. I mean, the depth, is very important. Yeah. So now I'm talking about institutional depth now, right? Not just simply on the instruments and others, but more institutional depth. Yeah. I mean, companies, organization, the sovereign wealth, and many others. So they can play that role very, very carefully, right? I mean, Indonesia is doing. We have our Khazanah, we have many others. So I'm talking about that kind of level, PFI of Saudi Arabia, the public fund of Saudi Arabia, and also many others, ADIA in Abu Dhabi, and many others. So I think the institutional depth, need to be pushed harder. So I think that's very important. And number two is, of course, technology. So I think again, God is so kind, and He give you a problem, He immediately give you a solution. And the solution that's going to happen is, of course, technology. But technology now got to be used in the right way. AI can be used to make warfare to become faster and quicker, but also it can also provide solutions, faster and better. So we have to work hard on this technology, and in particular AI, in my view, and of course blockchain and many others, which become good enablers. All right. And of course, the last part is, of course, we have to be much more unified in our views, in our approach in regard to geopolitics, because that's the risk that is so pertinent, and we have to figure it out how to be able to at least have some level of what I call it sanity into the geopolitical risk. Because otherwise, if you don't deal with that issue, the first two becomes in a way problematic.
Okay.
So we have to deal with these three issues very carefully. So therefore, I didn't even mention trade. Trade is outcome of all these things.
Okay. So finance, technology, and geopolitical
risk and so on. And then of course after that, trade will happen. And of course, in my view, for Malaysia, what is our biggest part of trade? Not in goods, but in
services.
We are well positioned among the OIC countries, to provide this. We're even better than Saudi Arabia. We're even better than UAE. I've been there a long time. And we have, to a degree, we can deal with a bit more Turkey, but Turkey has a different method of how to deliver the services. So among the OIC countries, the Muslim countries, if you take services, Malaysia ranks number 1. And of course, Islamic finance is a services.
Yes, one of it.
Okay. We have to take advantage of that. We have the knowledge base, we have the capital base, we have the human capital base, and respect, and many others that we do have. We have to capitalize on that issue. Very, very well.
So I think with that, thank you very much, Dr. Wan. I think it's very insightful and very eye-opening. Every time I have a conversation with you, we hope to have you again in our platform, IAIS Podcast. Thank you everybody for tuning in, I think, and see you again in our next podcast series. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.